Imagine for a moment that feeling of fatigue, slowness, or lack of confidence you've noticed lately could have a surprisingly simple cause. Something almost no one mentions, right there in front of you in the kitchen. The acidity level in your body, and how just 1 teaspoon of baking soda could be the key to restoring your vitality, improving your circulation, and even boosting your confidence in intimacy, especially after age 60. It's not a fairy tale, it's pure, real science. A science that, unfortunately, many older men never learn about. For over a decade, I've accompanied men like Julian, 63, and Antonio, 67, who were seeking to regain their strength, mental clarity, and energy, without false promises or shame. The surprising thing is that in many cases, it all starts with a change so simple it's hard to believe. I want you to remember this. Baking soda isn't just a household cleaning product. Used correctly, it can improve circulation, increase the oxygen available to your muscles, enhance your physical performance, and even unclog those tiny vessels that nourish your most essential organs, including those responsible for your intimate performance. The shocking part is that very few people know this is possible. Today, I'll show you how to use baking soda safely to boost your energy and care for your intimate health, starting right now. No complications, no magic formulas, just real solutions that strengthen from the inside out. And if you stick with me until the end, I'll share a simple 7-day plan that men like Ricardo, 65, and Esteban, 70, consider a true rebirth, all with just 1 teaspoon. Before we continue, I'd love to know something to connect with our community. From which city or country are you watching us? Write it in the comments. I love getting to know the people who truly care about their health, and it helps me create more useful and relevant content for you and your region. Let's get to the point. Now, let's talk about something that's rarely mentioned. Because so many men, upon reaching a certain age, feel like their spark is fading, that their energy and confidence are diminishing. After 60, it's not just about age, it's about what happens inside the body, its internal balance. And understanding this is the first step to changing everything. I've heard many older men whisper it almost in secret, as if they shouldn't admit it. I feel like I've lost my spark. It's not vanity. It's because we all want to keep feeling alive. To look in the mirror and see vitality, not exhaustion. After 60, it's common to notice duller skin, energy that drains faster, and confidence in the body that fades little by little. Many believe this is simply aging, but the reality is that in most cases, the cause is something else. The body's internal balance shifts, and recognizing it is the first step to reclaiming it. As we age, the body becomes more acidic, more inflamed, and begins to accumulate waste that it once eliminated effortlessly. The kidneys don't function as quickly, the blood thickens, and toxins linger longer. This weakens circulation, and little by little, that inner light that makes us feel alive starts to dim. I remember a patient named Guillermo, 68 years old. He told me that before, he woke up every day full of energy, with a clear mind, ready to face anything. But lately, even though he slept well, he woke up feeling empty, as if something was missing. His skin looked dull. He had no desire to do anything. His motivation was fading, and though the doctors told him everything was fine, he knew something wasn't right. The truth is, our bodies aren't designed to accumulate toxins for years without a way to balance themselves. Sometimes, what they need is a small boost, and that boost can come from something as simple and underrated as baking soda. Because when you understand how it helps restore the body's natural chemistry, you never see it the same way again. First, the science behind baking soda and how it impacts the body's pH. When I explain to my patients how baking soda works inside the body, many look at me in disbelief. Seriously? That white powder I sometimes use to clean or brush my teeth? Yes, that same one. But beyond its classic uses for deodorizing, cleaning the fridge, or whitening teeth, there's something much more important. We're talking about a natural alkalizer, capable of counteracting the excess acidity that builds up in the body, helping to bring the internal environment to a more balanced state. And believe me, after 60, that balance can make a huge difference in how you feel day to day. Over the years, the body tends to become more acidic. That acidity can go unnoticed at first, but it acts like a silent fog that drains energy, stiffens joints, dulls the skin, and slows down all cellular function. However, when baking soda is used correctly, it's like that fog dissipates with a gentle breeze. The blood flows better, oxygen reaches the muscles more easily, and often inflammation decreases. I remember a man named Esteban who decided to start with a simple routine using baking soda. After a few days, he told me, "I feel like I've recovered a bit of my spark." I'm not saying it's a miracle powder, but used with respect, it becomes a powerful tool. Because what really starts to improve is something fundamental: circulation. And if the blood doesn't flow well, no matter how many healthy habits you have, the results will be limited. That's why now we'll look at how this simple ingredient can revitalize one of the body's most important systems. We move to point number 2, baking soda and blood circulation. After years of working with older men, I learned that circulation isn't a minor issue. It's the heart of everything. It's not just about the heart or arteries. It's about life reaching every corner of the body, energy flowing and being felt in every movement. And what I often observe is that after 60, many men tell me they feel cold hands and feet, that wounds take longer to heal, that they tire easily, and even notice changes in their intimate life. All of those are clear signs that the blood isn't circulating like it used to. What hurts me the most is when they say, "Well, it must be age," when in reality, the body is just asking for help to improve blood flow. That's when baking soda stops being a simple kitchen product and becomes a true ally for circulation. Several studies show that when taken in the right amounts, it helps relax blood vessels and increase nitric oxide production, a key substance for maintaining artery elasticity. It's like a gentle internal cleanser that clears the path for blood to reach the muscles, the brain, the skin, and yes, the sexual organs too. I remember a patient named Eduardo, 72 years old, who came frustrated because he always had cold feet and lacked energy. I suggested something very simple with baking soda, and a week later he told me, "It's like someone turned the faucet back on." It's not magic, it's science. And it's one of those quiet ways this modest powder strengthens the very foundation of vitality. But having good circulation doesn't just mean feeling more alert or warmer in the extremities. It's a crucial factor when we talk about physical performance, endurance, and confidence, even in the most private aspects of life. And that's exactly what we'll see now. Point 3. Baking soda and muscle performance after 60. Many men share a particular frustration with me. The feeling that even though they're doing things right, their body doesn't respond like it used to. They tell me, "I exercise, I take care of myself, and yet I get exhausted with anything." It's not laziness or lack of will. It's simply the result of acid building up in the muscles over the years. Even simple tasks can leave the muscles tense, sore, and slow to recover. That's where baking soda comes in. An option few consider, but one that can be truly helpful. It has the special ability to neutralize lactic acid that forms when muscles work under strain. When that acid isn't cleared, you tire quickly. But if it's counteracted, the muscles perform better, fatigue less, and recover faster. Sergio comes to mind, a retired firefighter who was 61 when he came to see me. He told me he felt exhausted even after climbing a few stairs. I suggested incorporating a very simple routine with baking soda, and in a short time, he told me, "Now I can move like before without running out of breath." And this is just one example of how something so basic can help you regain strength, energy, and the desire to live. Although he still enjoyed walking every morning, halfway through the route, his legs would start to go numb. And that change was exactly what he needed. We talked about it and decided to add a small dose of baking soda to his morning routine. Just a few days passed, and I noticed something incredible. I could complete the entire park route without a single cramp. It had been months since that happened. Those small victories, believe me, are what reignite the spark of confidence, not just in the body, but in life itself. And of course, better muscle recovery is wonderful, but baking soda goes much further. It reaches something deeper, a topic that men our age rarely discuss, but that we all carry silently every day. I want us to touch on it together, because when baking soda helps blood flow better to a vital and delicate part of the body, the results can be surprising. How does it connect to mental sharpness? Many men describe it the same way, and I've experienced it myself. You enter a room and think, what did I come here for? The word is on the tip of your tongue, and the worst is waking up tired as if you hadn't slept at all. These little forgetfulnesses seem like part of aging, but they leave a mark. They erode confidence. I remember Enrique, a retired teacher, who told me, "Before I felt sharp, ready for anything. Now I feel like I'm walking through fog." What many don't understand is that mental fog and fatigue are connected to what's happening in the blood, the same blood that nourishes the brain. When the body's pH becomes imbalanced, when the blood becomes denser and more acidic, the brain is the first to suffer. That's where baking soda comes in. By promoting a more alkaline environment, it facilitates better blood flow, delivering more oxygen and nutrients to the brain. The result? You start feeling clearer, firmer, more present. Enrique described it as the fog lifting. That clarity doesn't just affect memory, it brings back presence in life, in the family, in every conversation. And when the mind awakens, the whole body starts to follow. Now, what if I told you that this same simple remedy can help one of the body's most overlooked muscle groups, which has a direct link to strength, control, and even sexual health? If baking soda can improve blood flow to the penis, many men lean in a little closer at this point, and I understand perfectly. Sexual confidence doesn't disappear with age. It's just buried under frustrations, silences, and shame. I've treated so many older men who come in and whisper, "I don't feel the same down there anymore." And what they don't know is that often, it's not so much about testosterone, but about circulation. Yes, that's straightforward. The real problem is in the small vessels that irrigate the penis, which I call penile veins, that can become inflamed, narrowed, or blocked over time. And here, baking soda plays a key role again. By reducing acidity and alleviating inflammation, it promotes better circulation. When the internal chemistry balances, blood flows more freely, not just to the brain or muscles, but also to the body's most intimate areas. I remember a patient named Manuel, 73 years old, who expressed it with total clarity. "It didn't just improve my performance, it restored my dignity." Changes like this are rarely mentioned, but they're entirely deserved. Baking soda, used correctly, can be part of a more complete solution to reclaim vitality in those areas of life you thought were lost in silence. It's not about miracles, it's about giving the body what it needs to function as it knows how. And now that we've seen what baking soda can do for you, I want to explain how to use it safely, effectively, and with the respect your body deserves. We'll talk about 7 internal and external ways to use it correctly. Once we understand baking soda's impact on circulation, energy, and male intimacy, the next step is learning to use it safely. And I'll be very honest with you. It's like any powerful tool. Used correctly, it can be very beneficial. Used incorrectly, it can cause discomfort or unwanted effects. Over my 23 years as a specialist, I've seen many men dive in without measure, taking too much or applying it without guidance, and then they end up disappointed or uncomfortable. That's why I always tell them, no need to overdo it. Sometimes the simplest thing is the most effective. One very practical and safe method I recommend is mixing half a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of room temperature water. Take this on an empty stomach a few times a week, and with just that, many men start noticing positive changes. Some have told me that in a few weeks, they feel improvements in digestion. Their skin looks clearer and more vibrant, and they feel lighter, as if the body is breathing better. It's not spectacular, but it's powerful in its subtle way. For those who suffer from bloating or joint stiffness, I suggest a foot bath with warm water and baking soda before bed. This helps relieve tension and facilitates toxin elimination through the skin. I've even recommended gentle baking soda masks to some men, and several whose skin looked dull and tired were surprised by the change after just 1 or 2 uses. But of course, all this only works if done with care, because there are mistakes, common errors that can quietly ruin all those benefits. Before starting, I want to talk to you about what to avoid so you don't fall into the same traps as many others. One of the things that frustrates me most in consultations is seeing someone try something with so much potential, like baking soda, but because they don't use it correctly, they end up thinking it doesn't work, or worse, that it harmed them. And I don't blame them. Most people don't get guidance on how to apply natural remedies responsibly. Some are told to avoid them entirely, while others are left to experiment on their own without understanding the necessary balance. With baking soda, balance is key. The first mistake, and I see it constantly, is excess. Just because a little helps doesn't mean more is better. If taken too often or in high amounts, it can irritate the stomach, raise sodium levels in the blood, and even overload the kidneys, especially if there are pre-existing issues. I remember a patient named Ignacio who started taking it morning and night every day with good intentions. But soon he began feeling bloated and strangely fatigued. We adjusted the dose, gave him a break, and in a few days he felt better than before. Another common mistake is not giving the body pauses. It's not about constantly correcting, but offering support at key moments. That's why I usually recommend using it 3 to 4 times a week. Not every day nonstop. And if you're taking medications, especially for blood pressure or kidneys, consult your doctor. Not out of fear, but common sense. It's not about radical changes overnight, but choosing small actions every day that add up over time. That's why I designed a 7-day protocol. It's not a strict regimen, but a gentle and natural rhythm. Something many men, especially those already 60 or 70, can follow without stress and with surprising results. It all starts in the morning with a simple act of self-care. Half a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water before breakfast. Not every day, just on alternate days to maintain good alkalinity without overwhelming the body. And on the other days, we focus on recovery. A foot bath, a facial rinse, or even a short walk with deep breathing. What we're doing isn't just supporting the body, it's reminding it how it feels to be well. You start feeling lighter, more awake, more connected to your own rhythm. One of my longest-term patients, Armando, once told me that for the first time in many years, he was waking up in the morning with a desire to live. He said something I'll never forget. It gave me something to look forward to. And that spark started coming back little by little. This routine isn't a miracle cure, but a reminder. A reminder that the body still knows how to heal, still knows how to shine, and still knows how to move forward with strength and dignity. However, even the best routine loses its power if we don't care for the mindset that sustains it. And here, I want to take you to a deeper point, to something no medication can give you, but that all men over 60 need to reclaim urgently, freeing ourselves from silent shame. There's something I want every man who's past 60 to hear. Not once, but as many times as necessary until it truly sinks into your heart. Your body isn't broken. It may move slower. Some parts may not respond the same, or sometimes you may feel distant from it, but it's still yours. It's alive. It's still capable of enjoying, of showing strength, and yes, of healing. Because the truth is, much of what we call aging isn't just the passage of time, but years of accumulating inflammation, stress, silences, and that shame that's never said out loud. I've seen many men carry that weight, ashamed because their desire doesn't respond the same, because the body changes, because they feel they've lost part of themselves. But there's a truth I always repeat. Confidence isn't lost forever, it's recovered. And sometimes it starts with something as simple as getting up in the morning, looking at your glass of water with baking soda, and deciding that today you choose to take care of yourself. That small gesture changes everything. It's your way of telling your body, you still matter, I'm still here, we're not done yet. And I assure you with all my heart, you're not done. In fact, you may be about to start the strongest, wisest, and most powerful chapter of your life. If anything I've shared today sparked something inside you, stay with me a little longer. I want to leave you with one last reflection, a simple but profound invitation to reconnect with yourself. It might transform the way you see your body, your health, and your future from this very moment. If my words touch something in you, even a small part, if you felt understood, accompanied, or hopeful, I invite you to do 3 simple things. Like the video, share it with a friend who needs it, and tell me in the comments which part resonated most with your heart. Your voice keeps this community alive. And if you want to support this mission of bringing honest, transformative messages to more people, you can make a small donation. Every gesture, no matter how small, helps keep this flame burning. Thank you for being here. You're more important than you imagine. M.